Hristos a Anastas.
Christ is risen.
Truly he is risen.
I want to first begin by saying happy and blessed Mother's Day to all those mothers and mothers-to-be. I pray that your families take you out today and treat you not only today but every day as mothers all deserve. I cannot speak for anyone else, but I can testify for myself that there's just something always about this gospel reading this morning that hits home from time to time. Because I'm sure that I can speak for all of us when I say that we have all had seasons or times in our lives where we may have felt stuck or paralyzed. Maybe not physically paralyzed like the man at the pool in Bethesda in this morning's gospel, but perhaps sometimes emotionally or spiritually or even mentally, just frozen, if you will. Waiting, hoping, wondering if anything will ever change or get better. I know that we've all been there at one time or another. Well, as we sit here this morning thinking of a time, or maybe even today feeling sorry for yourselves, I must remind you about the man in the gospel we just heard about, who was in that exact same place for 38 years. That's not just a long time, that's nearly a lifetime. Can you imagine lying, if you will, near what you knew were healing waters, just feet away, watching others get what you've been praying for, while nothing seems to change for you? Some of us know that feeling all too well when we see others move forward in life while we feel left behind, whether it's in healing or in peace or in clarity or even in our faith. There are times when we just feel like we've lost our strength and we're just waiting for someone or something to lift us up. And that is the incredible part of this morning's gospel. We just heard how Jesus walked into a place that I can imagine was full of pain, into an area of waiting. And he looks at a man, a real man, not someone of stories and of myth. And he sees him. And he asks him a question that almost sounds strange, if you will, given the circumstance and the place. And he asks the man, "Do you want to be made well?" And you think that the answer would be obvious. Of course he does. And Jesus knew this. He wasn't asking for his own knowledge, but he was asking the man for something deeper. Are you ready to move forward? Are you ready to be changed? Not just physically, not just mentally, spiritually, complete mind, body, and soul. Sometimes we get used to our struggles in life, our excuses, if you will, our routines, that even when there is healing offered to us, we do not know how to respond to it. But the Lord is doing something wonderful today and every day. He is not asking us to fix everything by ourselves. In saying, "Stand and rise, I will lift you." And that is what this Sunday of the Paralytic is really about. Christ meeting us where we are in our weaknesses and calling us to rise. We must not lose sight also of the little subtle messages hidden within this gospel and the power of the next statement that Christ says when he says to the man, not only rise up, but he says, "Take up your bed and walk." Seems a bit odd if we think about it, the man lying on this mat being told to rise and he can walk away from it, and Christ says, "Take up your mat." He doesn't just heal the man in this morning's gospel and send him off. He tells him to carry his mat. the very thing that once carried him. In other words, he's telling this man, do not forget where you came from. Your story does matter. Your healing, your struggles, it's all part of your witness. Because the same place that you may be stuck in can and is often the platform by which we glorify God and He glorifies us. And in parallel, we see in the epistle reading this morning that same very power which I speak of at work through the Apostle Peter, not through just Christ, through Apostle Peter. For those who don't understand or believe in the importance of apostolic tradition, this brings volumes. And Peter tells Aeneas, we're told, another man who is paralyzed, Jesus Christ heals you, get up. And then, in an even more stunning moment, Peter prays over a woman named Tabitha who had died. She wasn't just ill, she wasn't paralyzed, she had died. And she rises from the dead. Not because of Peter's own power, but because of the risen Christ who lives in his church that was established upon the apostles and passed on through them. The resurrection, as I said many times, is not just something that happened 2,000 years ago. It is happening here and now in this church, in us each and every day. So today, I want to ask all of you a similar question that Christ and Peter asked. Are you paralyzed? Where do you feel stuck and helpless? What is the one thing that is weighing down upon your soul? Maybe it is a sin that you cannot let go of, a fear that you have not yet faced, a wound that is still healing. Whatever that may be, Christ is standing before you today like he stood before the paralytic, and he's asking all of us, do you want to be made well? And this Paschal season is that exactly, a season of new life. Let us not just celebrate the resurrection of the one night of Pascha, let us live it. Let us rise from our paralysis that we may walk in the light of Christ. Let us take up our beds, our struggles, our past, our testimony, and carry them not as burdens or complaints, but as signs of what God has and will do for us. And maybe most importantly, let us look out for people who are lying next to us, if you will, in that pool. Those who are hurting, those who are lonely, or quietly suffering. Just as Christ came to lift up the paralytic, maybe he is calling us to help someone in the same situation, to bring love, to bring mercy, to bring hope into their life. I pray that as we move into the midpoint of the Paschal season, that we will be filled with the courage to trust in Christ, to rise and to be made well again. And may we be blessed with the compassion to perhaps help others and do the same. Christos Anesti. Christ is risen.
Truly he is